Welcome back. It's the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Ak.
And I'm Barack the Boxing Bully.
So lovely for you to join us. Heavyweight talk, Gypsy King talk. That's right. We all saw what he was able to do with Derek Chisora, but we all expected that. We want to see Tyson Fury against an elite heavyweight. So we put a nice little list together for you guys. I mean, there are a lot out there, but we narrowed it down to 5 guys that we need to see Tyson Fury fight. Barack, I mean, look, we all know that when there's a question about this guy giving Fury problems, the name that comes up the most is Usyk, Alexander Usyk. Yes, he's small, but he's tricky. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's a southpaw. He's just, I mean, the guy is a machine in there. We don't know if the size is going to be too much of a threat for him, but we need to see it. We need to see it happen. We don't know why the fight isn't made yet, but that's at the top of the list right there.
100%. That's the fight we all got to see. But according to Fury, Usyk is just a middleweight. Now, we know what this middleweight can do. He can move like a middleweight. He can box like a middleweight. And he got a little bit of pop as well. But skills pay the bills. Think about this. Tyson Fury got to where he got just off skills. Right. Wasn't really knocking anybody at the top level out. You know, when he got to the Klitschko level, he was pity-patting and moving all day. You know, so if that's what Usyk has to do, that's what Usyk has to do. The name of the game is boxing. And you're just going to walk out with a victory, and that's your best bet. Now,
you mentioned that he walked up to the ring, Barack. I mean, I don't think Usyk was too impressed with the bravado that Tyson Fury was giving him and shouting him out, saying you're nothing. I mean, this guy, look, I just came from a war, guy.
First of all, Usyk doesn't speak English. He has no idea. He has no idea what he was saying. He probably thought he was saying, Usyk, I really want to fight you. You're a great fighter.
He had no clue. No clue.
Usyk is crazy, my man. Like, that's it.
He does not care about any of that.
He does not care. He has no fear. I love that he stepped up on the ring apron and he's trying to push this fight. This is the most vocal we've seen him. Now, we played that game with the Derek, you know, back in the day, but this is different. He really, really wants this fight. Why? I think because he's getting older. He's getting older, and there's nobody else to fight.
All right, look, second on the list, Barack, is none other than the pride and joy of Great Britain. That's right, Anthony Joshua. I don't care what people say about Joshua. Lost to Usyk, and he lost to Ruiz. He is 6'6", 6'7", 250 pounds. He poses a threat to Tyson Fury. If he puts pressure on him, I think he'll make it a very interesting fight. And yes, you can say that Fury would be the favorite. Obviously, he would be the favorite going into that fight. But, I mean, he still hasn't been beaten. But that's a fight that I think that country wants to see. And eventually, I think it will happen. I think that's a bigger fight than Usyk Fury. Maybe for the hardcore fight fans, they want to see what Fury can do with Usyk. But overall, biggest fight in the heavyweight division would probably be Joshua versus Fury. I know you're thinking Wilder, Joshua, Barack.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. You just said the pride and joy of Great Britain was Anthony Joshua. So if you feel that way, then it would take an American fighter, a true American fighter, to bring a bigger crowd.
Well, I know that's
whoever's going to watch Fury is going going to watch Joshua. You know?
No, but I'm talking about the magnitude of the fight. I'm not saying, what I'm saying is if Joshua were to fight Wilder in America, it's not going to do the same numbers that Joshua fighting Fury would do in the UK. So it's just a bigger fight. What I'm saying,
it's to do with what I'm saying.
That fight will draw more. I'm saying in the heavyweight division more than any other fight.
No, I don't agree.
All
now
right.
you can't compare it the way you just compared it because
why not?
In the UK, first of all, because that's not the comparison that we're making here. In the UK, boxing is big, so yeah, okay, that'll be a big fight there as compared to a fight in America. But we're talking about Joshua. We're just talking about, first of all, a fight in America is still big if Anthony Joshua's fighting in America because the whole UK is going to tune in. But imagine Wilder fighting Joshua in the UK.
In the UK, you think that's bigger than Joshua Fury?
Nothing bigger than 100% bigger
Hell
than
no.
that. 100% because now you're going to have Americans tuning in. Now you're going to have more Americans tuning in, and that's what I feel.
You'll have more Americans. It'll be a big fight, and you have an argument. But for you to say 100% is so much bigger than that, I disagree with you completely. But anyway, look, outside of Alexander Usyk walking up to the ring, to the ropes. Also, Big Joe Joyce did as well. And he's a big guy. His stature is big. He was close to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury did call him out, and he made it clear. Even throughout that interview, he said, I'm the only guy that said his name. And he said, if this guy doesn't want the smoke, then you can get it. So in other words, if the Usyk fight can't be made, Tyson Fury is willing to fight dangerous Joe Joyce. He's number 3 on our list. And I mean, I don't see anybody else that will pose that much of a threat because the shots that he can take, he can withstand the storm to get his shots off. Is he quick enough to catch a Fury? We'll see.
I love that little face-off because it was a 3-way face-off right on the ring. 2 was on the apron. Fury was on the inside. I loved that standoff right there. I just wish Usyk spoke English so he could have added to that, you know? Because if he was understanding what was going on, maybe he would have said a couple of words. And he's a funny guy, whether he speaks English or not. But Joe Joyce, I think he deserves that number 3 spot. At one time I didn't, but now I do because he is just taking so many shots and eating them for lunch that I'm dying to see if anybody can hurt this man.
And just to point one thing out about that face-off, Barack, I think a lot of people didn't mention this, but Usyk took a phone call during the face-off. He actually answered the call like, I'm gonna call you right back. I'm handling something right now. So he was not that impressed because he actually heard his phone ring.
No, that was somebody calling him saying, do you know what they just said about you?
Maybe. Let's go to number 4. Our number 4 guy on Tyson Fury's list that we think that he needs to share the ring with is none other than Andy Ruiz. That's right, the guy that upset the apple cart in MSG against Anthony Joshua, the short, fast-handed, heavy-hitting Andy Ruiz. He needs a shot. I like to see him in there against a big guy. I like to see him underneath Fury's long punches trying to put those combinations together. It'll be interesting. Yes, he will be, Fury will be a heavy favorite in that fight. He'll be a heavy underdog, but I like it. I like that fight.
I like Andy Ruiz against, who is that, Ortiz. And he showed me something in that fight, but he's always been showing me something. I think personally, he should not care about the weight. And I think that's his mentality now, not really caring about the weight, not really caring about how you look, and just concentrate on getting in shape and training and getting your skills sharp. You got the fastest hands in the division, and he's the smaller fighter, probably a little bit under 6 feet, but he's willing to fight anybody. It might not be such a tough fight because Fury is so tall. Now, come on, size does matter. 6'9" against 5'11 and a half, maybe. That's a big difference. I don't see. That's just an uphill battle. That's all I can say. Yeah, but I do still would like to see that fight if Fury can get past the 3 we just.
I would definitely want to watch it. But yeah, it'd be a hard hill to climb.
Now, mind you, if he did get past those 3, Fury, and was able to beat Andy Ruiz, then I could start saying what they were saying when he beat Wilder was right. When he beat Wilder was
one of the greatest of all time,
greatest heavyweights of all time. So
then let's talk about another guy who might not be mainstream. You know, he didn't get the fame that Andy Ruiz got when he beat Anthony Joshua, but this is a guy who comes from a Cuban class of boxing, super fast, super skilled. We spent some time with him before. Hell of a guy. I'm talking about Frank Sanchez. Yes. We all saw what he was able to do with Ajagba during the Fury Wilder trilogy. If I'm not mistaken, or was that that was the trilogy? Wilder Fury was on the same card against Ajagba, and he dominated that fight, put him down. I think Frank Sanchez doesn't get talked about enough. I think he's a very skilled heavyweight. Now, of course, he'll have size against him against Fury. All right, that would be anybody fighting Fury. They're going to lack size. He's 6'9". He's the biggest guy in the division. Long reach. He can box. So it won't be an easy climb. It'll be Mount Everest. But I think if anybody has the skill and the hand speed to give Fury trouble, I'm going to say it's Frank Sanchez, Barack. And I think he's the type of guy to get up for the big fight.
Yeah, very, very possible he can give Fury trouble because understand that at one time, the heavyweights who were ruling during our era were heavyweights that started late. They didn't have that young amateur career. You know, they were 18 and 20. I'm talking about Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, even though they both medaled in the Olympics. But still, you talk about Frank Sanchez, grew up in the sport, just like Fury. So that right there kind of sets a lot of fighters apart. And I would say, even though I do think Frank Sanchez deserves this spot, I would say a Slash, and I would say Jared Anderson as well.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I do believe he's up next. And just to throw this out there, I don't know if you remember in Vegas when we were interviewing or asking him about him being in camp with Fury, he kind of gave a little smirk, little smile, maybe a little chuckle. And sometimes that means I'm giving the guy that I'm in camp with that business, and that's what it is. So,
but he also speaks highly of Fury, and Fury speaks highly of him, so they get along.
Yeah, he's a respectful man. But I think, go ahead.
In this sport, friends can become foes all the time.
And friends can fight. Friends can actually fight. Look what Chisora and Fury just did. Now, I think Frank Sanchez, he's not as small as Ruiz. He's 6'4", 4 to 5 inches taller than Ruiz. I'm not going to say he's faster, but his feet may be faster. He's in and out. Now, I guess we always go back to the Jagba fight because that was his coming out fight. That was his best fight. But since then, he had that tough fight with Christian Hammer. I just say tough because he didn't get him out of there like people thought he would. And then with Negron, his last fight, people got upset that he took to the 9th round to get him out of there. But I thought that was a good fight. I thought that was a decent fight. I get it. So, yes, we go back to that Jagba fight because the Jagba showed full range of movement. It just showed so many skills, so much skills that he had that we had no idea he had.
No doubt.
So that is the reason why he deserves to be number 5.
I like the honorable mention though in Jared Anderson. I think 2023 is going to be a huge year for him as well. So look out for that. And that's our list. Top 5 fights that Tyson Fury needs to be in soon. All right, peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.
Introducing the new DAZN Boxing Show podcast. No matter the time or the place, getting your boxing content has become easier than ever. Tune in as we give you exclusive insights, predictions, fight night recaps, and more alongside the biggest names in the game. All for free. Available globally every Thursday across all audio streaming platforms and with new episodes dropping weekly to give you the latest news. Just type in the DAZN Boxing Show podcast, listen in, and enjoy.